Hola, hola amigos, bienvenidos a nuestro canal Más Urbano TV, donde encuentras lo más urbano.
Okay, we're live. Okay, I'm gonna try it again. Keep this up. What's the TIG? Still says that Carrie's unable to join. Okay, it says that Carrie is unable to join. That's also another reason why I'm going to be taking a little break for a week, is I think everyone's going live so much at the same time. It's like, just live. I know. 1 second, they're hitting me up. And I think Instagram is just getting super overwhelmed, so I want to give them a week to get caught up, because it makes it really, really hard to run this show. There we go. Okay. AKA IG, put your shit together. That's what I'm saying nicely. All right, so now producer, actress, activist Carrie Washington is joining Bright Minded. Oh, here we go. Yeah!
Ah!
I am so happy to see you. This is like,
likewise. I'm so sorry.
This show is always like so much fun, except when it comes to, these are one of the things which we're learning a valuable lesson at this time, that we can't control everything.
Surrender, surrender, surrender.
That's the mantra. That's the mantra of this time.
That you're doing this. I love that you're doing this. It's so
I am enjoying it so much. You know, I kind of created it at a time of just feeling that fear, feeling that anxiety, feeling that panic, and feeling really disconnected and you know, kind of singular. And I'm used to feeling, you know, since I was a little girl, like, I know you're pretty, you know, close with your dad. Your dad is hilarious. I see him on Instagram. But my dad took me like everywhere with him. He would just like take me on tours, and me and Zoe Kravitz was on the show yesterday, and she was like, why did our parents just pass us around to whoever? I was just always in people's hands and always being held and always being hugged. And so then when this time happened, it's something I never really experienced. I'm a total toucher. I love to like lay on my mom's lap and get my hair played with and to touch and to hug. And so feeling that disconnection for the first time in my life, I just started feeling really anxious. And I thought that there has to be a way that we can connect to each other and we can feel that hug without, you know, with keeping ourselves safe and keeping ourselves in quarantine. And so it's just been a really good way to kind of like virtually connect and care. And we're just really lucky to live in a time where we have technology where we can do this.
Yeah, I love it, because I think there's also, like, for me, there's a sense that when I'm in a situation that produces anxiety or fear in me, I want to like close my heart down. And so having these places where we are reminded to keep our hearts open, to connect with people, to like let the feelings flow, don't hold it down, like that to me is the only way to get through this.
Are there any, you know, exercises or tools you use when you feel yourself closing up? Like, you know, it can seem silly, but maybe it even is, you know, laying on the ground and like feeling grounded, or the earth. That's kind of what I do. And I push myself up with my arms and like physically open myself up. Is there something that you do mentally or physically or spiritually?
Yeah, I try to actually just think about my heart as a, like, to picture my heart and to relax it, like to try to relax the muscles around my heart. And then with my kids, I try to, like, we lie on the ground, and if you put a stuffy, like a stuffed animal or anything, on your belly, and so taking the kind of deep breath that makes the stuffed animal rise up, so that everybody's really breathing into your belly and not just that like shallow chest panic breathing. So
I
that
just started doing that, and I felt like everything comes down, and you just feel. I think it's a really good idea to place something on yourself so you can actually really stay accountable and see it. I'm so, visual as well. Like, that's what I've loved about doing this too, is I've gotten to talk to so many different people about everyone has their own process.
yes.
And you got to respect it. And I think, that's something that, I'm going to take. I've been doing this for 3 weeks, and I'm like loving it so much every single Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 12:30. And, and I love it so much, but I'm going to take this next week to just kind of like go in, because I feel like by doing this show, it's so kind of extra and like out here, and like, even though it's meant to just kind of have conversations, I'm still in a form of entertainment. And so I think to just go in and like feel it, and then be able to have more to give because you actually replenish yourself.
Even your decision to do that is so beautiful, because I think right now, not only do we all have our own process, but like our process changes every day, because the circumstances of the world change every day, or how it's impacting me changes every day. So to have the honesty to say like, okay, this worked for 3 weeks, but I'm going to shift it up a little bit and do what's right for me, and then come back to you when I'm ready. Like, that kind of honesty is so beautiful and needed, and I'm so grateful.
RuPaul says, how can you love anybody else if you don't love yourself? And so I just think, like, preach. Ru is everything to me. Like, you just don't. It's like, I'm so obsessed with RuPaul. It's not even right. Like, tonight is one of the episodes. Everything in my house shuts down. Everyone has to like turn the phone off, Wi-Fi off, so nothing messes with my Apple TV so I can watch, or my VH1. Like, I'm obsessed. But speaking of TV shows that we love, everyone loves Little Fires Everywhere. My mom is like literally freaking obsessed. You're an executive producer and you star in the show. So can you tell us what it's like to work on a female-led team? Like, it's just a total powerhouse of female executives.
I loved when you had Reese on.
She was so good.
She's amazing, and I love working with her. I don't know, I think, especially because our show is about being a woman, it's about being a daughter and being a mother, and like how complicated those relationships are. I feel like it was really important for our power structure to be filled with women, because it's our experience, and we could really bring all of that to the table. And it's not that I don't love working with men. I've worked with amazing men in my career. I'm almost done shooting a film with Ryan Murphy. We had to stop because of quarantine, but it's, there are incredible men in this business who are doing inclusive work. But being on a team of all women, like, you just find that you're speaking each other's languages. When you're telling stories about women, then it should be with other women. Yeah, I think it has nothing to do with, like, for you, and in this case, necessarily, like sex or gender. It's just about really understanding and being able to speak from a place of truth. That's what the best movies and the best TV shows are honest. And it's not, even though acting is in a way pretend, you find something that's maybe happened to you in your real life that you could use that emotion or the way that you reacted to it, even in this like fantasy world. You have to tap into like all storytelling. I think this is true in music too, when you're doing songwriting. Like, if you're not sharing part of your real experience, people smell it. Like, what you're onto is when you see truth and you go like, oh, I recognize that truth as something that I've lived through, or somebody I love has lived through. And that's what makes us feel connected. You've got to be telling the truth. Yes. Even if someone is a great actor, but you feel like, when you're like, I don't know, I just didn't believe them. It might just be because they don't relate to they're playing. Or they didn't dig enough inside themselves to figure out how they could relate it. Like, that's 100%. What I'm asking myself is, I'm not Mia. I haven't lived Mia's experience, but I have so many experiences in my life that make me understand how she feels. And so a lot of time I'm saying her words, but I'm energetically, like, my heart is speaking my truth through her words. When I did Wrecking Ball, everyone thought I was like crying over my breakup, but I was actually crying over my dog. And my dog had just died. And the whole time I was shooting, there was like a little photo of my dog right underneath the camera. Yeah. And it's like, listen, like today, like I feel kind of a sense of relief about being single or so I couldn't relate to the song that day, but I'm like, it doesn't matter. Today's the day of the shoot. I got to find it. Yes. What's something that really makes me feel like broken pieces? And it was my dog. So you can find those things. And when you're in a scene, I think that's something really helpful. Like,
I kind of have a picture, like even sometimes I'll have it on my phone. Like I'll just go and look at the person I feel like I'm talking to. So I honestly don't even see the other actor. I see someone else. Like when I did Black Mirror, my Aunt Catherine was like a producer that I had grown up working with at one time. And I totally switched it and like put someone else's face. So I wasn't even talking to an actor. I was like saying all the things I never got to say, you know, in my real life. So I wanted to ask you that question just because it's still not the norm in Hollywood, seeing women calling the shots and having creative control. So it's awesome. What are some leaders or who are some leaders in this space that you really love? Like, who are some women you want to shine some light on that we should be like digging into their work or that you want to work with?
Lena Waithe is doing phenomenal work. You know, Queen and Slim, amazing. But also she has 20s on BET. Like she's killing it, destroying it. Issa Rae, Insecure on HBO. She's doing unbelievable work. Her films too. And I actually directed an episode of Insecure this new season.
So cool.
And I love that environment. I love working with her. Shonda Rhimes, obviously, who I worked with on Scandal. She's a beast. So I feel like there are a lot of really amazing women just like doing it, just telling stories, telling our stories. America Ferrara, Eva Longoria, just a lot of amazing storytellers out there right now. I
bet you're awesome to work with as a director because I feel like you're very like focused, but there's a sense of calm. And anytime I've worked with directors that have a sense of like, I don't know, just, you know, I think it's really important that a director knows what they're looking for and what they want to get out of the actors. There's nothing worse, you know, when you're doing a scene 1,000 times and you're like, what are you looking for?
It's horrifying.
What am I not delivering?
No, it's so true. Everybody wants clarity in leadership. You know what I mean? Like that to me, to be decisive and also to be honest. Like when I don't know something as a producer or director, I say like, I'm not sure, but let's find it together. But I try to do that before the day so that people don't feel like lost on the day. Because as an artist, you're putting your most vulnerable work out there. You want to, your director is going to be able to hold it for you. Yeah, I've told my dad before, I said, like, Dad, I'm just lost. And he goes, well, get found. And I was like, okay. Well, okay, fine. Seems easier. Brene Brown has this expression that I love that, like, it's going to be fine in the end. So if it's not fine, it's not the end. Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Isn't that good? I love that so, so much. So yeah, your dad is super, super cute. My dad's also like adorable. We're very blessed to have such amazing dads. Yeah, my dad is so cute. Unless you're like a new boo in my life, and then he's like crazy. Exactly. He had this really big German Shepherd who he would tell all my new boyfriends that was a wolf, and it wasn't a wolf. It was just a really big German Shepherd. He was like, you know, this is a wolf that I've actually trained to live in the house with people, but I can turn it on you when I need to. Love it. So he's like just so crazy. But, you know, our family, we're really lucky to have our family as a reliable source. Who are some reliable sources that you're kind of calling upon in this time? Yeah, I mean, my friends, I love that you talk a lot about like your doctor. For me, therapy is such an important place for me to be able to like meet my reliable self, to be honest. But my husband, my friends, my closest friends, my Scandal girls, Reese, those are all people I really go to. My mom. I think it's great that you mentioned this therapy because there is just nothing wrong with asking for help and for advice. And also just to have someone that you can just kind of talk to that even just can listen. Because sometimes you can figure it out on your own. You just got to have someone to be some ears. Yeah, and I think right now we're all trying to be so strong for each other, particularly women. Like we're trying to be strong for our partners or for our kids or for our us. So I think it's important to like self-check and make sure like I'm being strong for me and so that I can be strong for other people. Like if I'm pushing my own needs down just to be strong for other people, that's not going to work. And I think a lot about right now, I think a lot about people on the front lines, like the doctors and nurses. The best. Like, and getting them the kind of mental health support that they need and, you know, not just supplies, but also services. That's something that's really important to me, right? I don't think we had an idea of the amount of work and stress until now we're kind of starting to see some heartbreaking images coming from New York. I don't know if that's where you are right now. So it's where my heart is. Yeah, and it's just totally devastating and just, you know,
I was talking to Elton about if you're not in a place where you can, actually donate money, donating just your giving your thoughts and your prayers and your appreciation post. I'm sure that means so much to them. So I've been encouraging my fans just to hold signs and say, we love you and we see you.
Yeah.
And, there's all
is making signs for your postal people, right? Like there are people who are delivering things to us every day so that those of us who are staying home are able to get food or get mail or get Clorox or, whatever, waiting on whatever we're needing. And so to make a sign by your mailbox.
I love that.
Such a huge, because they are so courageous right now. I'm not in New York, but because I'm from New York, I actually worked with this organization called MedShare.
Yeah.
And they, because I gave a larger amount, they allowed me to donate to hospitals in the Bronx specifically, because that's where I'm from, the Boogie Down. And MedShare has always, for 10 years, MedShare has provided supplies to underserved hospitals. So now they're really working to get supplies to underserved hospitals all over the country, all over the world. So if you can give, that's an amazing organization to give to, MedShare. And yeah, if you can't give financially, just showing support and love, like you're saying, is huge.
Yes, absolutely. And now that we're talking about things that are really important to us, I saw that you were posting and encouraging people to respond to census. So I wanted to kind of, before we close, I wanted to say, if you're watching and you want to make a difference while you're staying safe at home, respond to the 2020 census at 2020census.gov. The census counts every person in the U.S. and it's really important. Not only is the census mandated by the Constitution, but it's the information that's used for the next 10 years to decide how certain funding is allocated and even how many seats our states will get in the U.S. House of Representatives. So every home is supposed to respond. Make sure that you and your family are accounted for. Take advantage of the extra time that you might have during quarantine.
It only takes 5 minutes.
Yes, it's so fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
It's how we decide how hospitals get, when hospitals are being renovated, how many rooms we need in hospitals, how many supplies hospitals get. A lot of that is allocated because of the census. So as we're recovering from coronavirus, how we improve our schools, if we don't know how many kids are in a school, those schools won't have the numbers of teachers that they need and classrooms that they need. And this only happens every 10 years. It's so important. It's protected. It really is the thing that you can do to show up for your community and make sure that your community has the resources that it needs for the next 10.
I know, 10 minutes, 10 years, pretty good deal.
Yes.
Pretty good deal. And yeah, I was just saying the other day on the show, we were talking with an LGBTQ historian, and we were saying, we don't want to go back into the pre-COVID-19 world. We want to go back into a better world. Let's go into a world where we're all accounted for, and so we can protect ourselves and prevent crisis like this in the future. And
also to really acknowledge what you're doing. Let's go back into a world where we stay open-hearted and we stay connected to each other, and we're looking for the good.
Yes.
You are Monday through Friday.
Yes, agreed. Thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you for everything. Give your family a hug from me and stay safe.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Cutest ever. Okay, I'm actually going to end because I know me and this next guest are going to talk a lot. So I want to just end this so Instagram doesn't end it for me. Whoa. Yes, I'm kind of in my underwear. This is how you interview Elton John in your underwear. I'm changing. Okay, I got some pants on. They're not much of pants. The hair is wet. I tried to wash my hair for Elton, but I kind of started running late. We got a big show today, so I've had a lot of stuff to do, but host life. Okay. Can everyone hear? Let me check and make sure everyone can hear. Okay. All right. Good morning and good night to some of y'all watching today's finale Friday on Bright Minded. Live with Miley. I wanted to start the show by thanking everyone that has been tuning in and for the magic that we have created together. And I started this show so I could bring light into dark times. And for the past 3 weeks, we have come together in a way far beyond anything I could have imagined. I've had some amazing guests that I respect so much, and hearing their process and their tools and the way that they bring peace into their heart, whether it's meditation or breathing exercises, staying active, staying creative, ways to responsibly shop and stock at this time, being okay with not being okay, and not being afraid for us to ask for help, and then knowing that there's help out there, and highlighting those organizations that are here for us, and working with companies and foundations that are really stepping up to supply food and medical needs. It's been an honor. It's been my privilege to have spent my mornings with all of you at home. My heart melts in burning love for everyone that's been tuning in to the show. It has been a gift for me to share good news. Every single morning with you guys, we've been talking about the good stuff, because there is just so much news and it can be so overwhelming because so much of it is happening, so quickly. Everything is changing so quickly, and there's so many stats and there's so many numbers, and it's, we got to remember that those numbers aren't just numbers. They're people. It's a person. It's a family member. It's a friend. It's a loved one. A lot of people are hurting at this time, and so I just want to remind all of us that this is what this time can mean. We can really connect. We can use this opportunity to make a difference in each other's lives right now, and simply by just being kind to one another and to reaching out. Each of us have a unique process, and you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself and take care of others, but you can't take care of someone else if you're not loved, and if you don't feel taken care of, and if you don't feel safe, and if you don't feel fulfilled. Like RuPaul says, how the hell are you going to love somebody else if you can't just love yourself? So, people are saying my Wi-Fi's bad. I don't think so I'm checking in. Hold on. Okay. Each one of us have our own unique process, so make sure that you're looking after yourself, doing self-care, take care of yourself, take care of each other. It's really hard to take care of each other if you're not in a good place with yourself. Like RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen? Okay, so over the past 3 weeks, there has been a common thread in advice that I have received, and it is to be gentle with yourself, and that every day is different. And since things are changing so fast, it's time for me to push pause and put into practice what I've been learning. So this is for sure, not the finale. Nothing is for sure right now. This is not for sure the finale episode, as big networks call it. I'm just taking a hiatus. And it would be really beautiful, for me to see over the next week how you all are using the tools and tips that we've heard and learned, and share them with me, and tag me and tag Happy Hippie FDN, and we'll be reposting. It's just really important that I take time to process everything that's happening as well, so I can come back totally full and ready to continue to give. I'm always here for you though, and I love you so much, and I want to thank everyone that's been watching. Thank you for keeping me lit in dark times. Okay, and our next guest has been a leader and activist for years. I gotta fix my hair for Sir Elton. Okay. Our next guest has been a leader and activist for years. He is an icon. He is a legend. I'm lucky to have performed with him, and I'm lucky to have him as a guest on Bright Minded. He definitely shines inside and out. I think his heart is even bedazzled, probably with his initials on it, and maybe even designed by Gucci. So I'm in the Gucci rainbow, celebrating all the incredible work that my friend Elton, Sir Elton John, has done. So I'm going to connect Elton right now. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I never thought I'd see this. FaceTiming with Sir Elton John on Bright Minded.
Hey,
Hi, my friend. Good to see you.
great to see you. It's been too long. I haven't seen you for ages. Are you well? Are you good? You look great.
I am well. We haven't seen anyone for ages, so I'm just happy every morning that I see someone that I love pop up on my screen. It's like, you're almost here.
Right. So,
I
congratulations
wanted,
on doing this. This brings people together, and at this time, this incredible time that I can't ever remember anything like this, and I'm 73. This is a really strange time to be living in. But as you said, it's a time for people to come together, and we all know that. And I'm hoping that at the end of this all, and when it finally goes away and we can start venturing out again, that we will be kinder to each other, we will be more tolerant of each other. If we don't learn a lesson from this, we're never going to learn from anything.
I totally agree. I had Alicia Keys on the shows a couple days ago, and we were talking about the little things, that how this makes you just really have so much gratitude for the little things and the people in your life that you forgot to tell them how much they made your day. We're constantly talking to each other, but I was talking about my local cafe, and I go there and I get my coffee in the morning, and that's part of my ritual. And it's not the coffee that lifts me up or wakes me up, even though it does. It's the people in there that I see daily that become a part of the highlight of my day, and they're just the people that you forget to tell them how much you really appreciate them. So I look forward to telling everyone in my community how much I've missed them when we finally get to be back together again.
Exactly. I mean, we're in Los Angeles in the house, we're locked down. But when I get up, because of the time difference, I call people in Europe and England. I think calling people is really important to make sure they're okay, especially people who are vulnerable to this disease, the more elderly people. But it doesn't seem to have any age group now. Everyone is getting infected. But people who are of a certain age need to be called and make sure they're okay. And then I start calling people in America, and it's a reconnection, and it's very important. My big concern, apart from the coronavirus, which is such an incredibly unknown thing, and the health services globally are being stretched beyond belief, and the people on the front line are doing such an incredible job. Being involved with AIDS for so long, my concern with this coronavirus thing is that the people who need their AIDS medicines are getting the treatment that they need, because they might get pushed back to the back of the queue because of the people who need treatment urgently because of coronavirus. So I mean, I'm concerned with that, and I've been speaking to my foundation in England, and we're going to roll out in the next 3 months $1 million for people so that they can get their medicines, they can get the treatment in marginalized places, in rural places globally. As a result of coronavirus, people with another infectious disease are going to suffer too. So you're going to get double whammy going on. So I'm going to stick to my guns with the AIDS Foundation and make sure, because of this global pandemic that's happening, that the people who are suffering from another global pandemic don't get forgotten. So it's a double whammy, and that's what my foundation has tried to do: help the marginalized, help the poor, help the people who mustn't get left behind. And so that is my main focus in the next 3 months, is to make sure that these people on the HIV and AIDS lifeline that we give them don't get forgotten. And let's face it, there's so much pressure and the toll on the people who are working on the front line in these situations, the nurses, the doctors, everybody, ambulance drivers, policemen, firemen, everybody. They can only do so much. So we have to step up with the organizations that we know globally and make sure that they're doing their job too, to take the focus and some of the strain off the health workers that are doing their job so brilliantly now.
Absolutely. And it's really important that, at this time, if you're not in a position where you can make large donations, just even showing your appreciation. So I've really been encouraging my fans to be posting, holding signs, thanking our healthcare workers and people on the front line, of just showing your appreciation. If you don't have money to donate, just letting them know that you see them and you see their efforts, and we depend on them. I saw a great thing online that said we now really can see who is running this country all along. And it's them.
It is. And, we sit in our lovely, we are well-off people. We have no idea. We see images and we see postings by people who are working on the front line. We really don't have any idea what these people are going through. They're going through hell. And they're going through hell because they're working, 24/7. They're seeing people die in front of their faces. And it's getting worse and worse at the moment. So, I'm at a loss to describe how these people must be doing. I mean, I just can't believe that they're so heroic. Well, they are heroic. And it's a bit like World War I, World War II, when people have to come together. And I didn't go through any of those things, but I've never experienced anything like this. And we must focus our attention on the people that need it most, the people on the front line.
Absolutely. And before we sign off, thank you so much for being on Bright Minded. For many of us, we haven't faced the epidemic or a pandemic before. What would be your advice for all of us to stay positive and stay inspired, given your experience with HIV/AIDS and setting up your foundation, and it's such an incredible thing to have gotten to be a part of? What would you say to all of us if this is our first time experiencing anything like this, and how do we stay inspired?
It's to reconnect. I mean, we spend so much time, I don't have a phone, but people spend so much time on their social media. And social media plays a part in this coronavirus epidemic. But connect with the people that really matter. Talk to people in your family, your friends. Call them up. Embrace them. Think how lucky you are to have the friends that you have. This is the time when people have to really take stock of their lives, and me included, everyone. And the most important thing I've been doing is connecting with my children. I was supposed to come off the road in 2021 after the farewell tour. That's going to be pushed back. And then I thought I'd spend time with my children. Because of coronavirus, I'm spending 24/7 with my children, and I'm having the most wonderful time.
That is beautiful.
I'm lucky. People who have like 3 or 4 kids and they have to work from home, that's not so easy. I mean, I have it easy. So reach out to people, alleviate their pain by talking to them, giving them love. That's all you can do. You can't reach out physically, but you can reach out mentally, and you can reach out in the most humane way possible. And as I said before, when I started, as a result of this terrible pandemic, after it's finished and it's gone away, then we can become a much gentler and kinder race of people to each other. I'm afraid social media has kind of pushed people away from reconnecting with each other at a distance. Now we're at a distance, but we can connect more lovingly. And phone someone every day, phone someone that's far away, phone someone who's living on their own, make sure they're okay. That's all I can do, and that's what most people can do. And by doing things like this, by having your podcast and your broadcast like this, and giving people some sense that that's being thought about, that's the greatest gift you can give them.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and thank you for all your efforts and everything you've done.
I love you. You know how much I love you, and I love you, and I hope I see you after all this is over.
I will. I know. I just can't wait for hugs from everyone that I love. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miley.
Love to your family.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was beautiful. I'm charging. 1 second. Okay. Super beautiful. Super honored to have Sir Elton John on the show. Now, I'm a little bit ahead of schedule, which usually does not happen on Bright Minded. And I would love to take some questions from the fans. So I actually think I know how to do this. If I had any time, I wanted to take some questions from the fans about maybe why I started Bright Minded, and also just some things that maybe I would love to hear, if you're allowed to put answers in the questions. I'd love to hear what's been having you tune in every single day. What have been the segments that you connect with the most? Because when I do come back, because I know me, I'm already thinking about how I can do this more. I mean, listen, like talking to someone like Elton John and him saying by me having this Instagram live show that I can really like connect people, and that's the way that I can be of service. Like that just encourages me to keep going. And I do think it's really important that I take some time. I just kind of want this week just to kind of really check in with myself. I think that's what we've heard from every guest, is that it's important to check in with yourself and just like be with it for a little while. And I guess I've been kind of so out here that it hasn't given me as much time to go in here. So I just need to kind of go in and meditate and put into action some of these suggestions and activities and tools and tips that I've learned, and then I'd love to come back. So let me see if I can do a couple questions. That's my pillow, by the way, making that noise. Okay. Okay, what is your favorite part about Bright Minded? My favorite part about Bright Minded is the connection. Like Elton said, that's what was missing, I think, in our life before COVID-19. So I tap on the screen share. Oh, what's your favorite part about Bright Minded? Okay, there we go. What's your favorite part about Bright Minded is the connection, and that's what I think we lost, with social media. Now we're using it to connect in the real ways. We're making social media less about ourselves and less about highlighting, the best parts of ourselves and the best qualities of ourselves and best parts of our lives. But we're really letting everyone into the more painful part of our life. And I think that's something that we usually try to keep to ourselves because we try to project strength. So it's nice to just connect on a vulnerable level. Let's see. How do you select your guests? So I've been just going through my DMs. Usually most of the guests that I've had are people that I've been following. So like Zero Waste Chef Max and Package Free founder Lauren. I've been huge fans of their work for a long time, and I haven't really gotten to connect to them. And this is, in our busy schedule, we don't get to connect to the people that we really love and respect always, because we don't always have that time. So I took that time to connect with people that I don't know if without this experience, we would be connecting with. Reese Witherspoon, I'm just so inspired by her work as a female in the industry. Zoe Kravitz is a really good friend of mine, and has been for years. And so that's someone that's a really great friend, but we don't always keep up with each other because our schedules get so busy. So this is a good time to catch up with old friends. That's how Selena actually DM'd me and said how much she was loving the show. And her and I have, talked to each other a little bit over the years, but not much since we spent all that time on Disney together. And so we're just, I'm just using it time to connect with people that I wouldn't always have the time to connect with before, that I love and I respect. And people that I think will have great advice. Let's see. Who is someone that you are happy to have connected with on the show? I was really happy to share Dr. Amen with everyone, who has been working with me for like the past 10 years and keeping me mentally healthy and strong, and in the times of weakness, like, going back and forth with sobriety and finding a balance in my life and being a very extreme person. He's helped me understand some of the, me being extreme can be such a great quality in my work, because that means I'm like very driven, and I like to give a lot, and there's parts of ourselves that can benefit us and parts that can hurt us. So he tries to help me find what is in myself that's helpful and what's in myself that's hurtful, and try to elevate the helpful parts of myself. Speaking of guests that I adore and are happy to connect with, I have Kerry Washington standing by. So I'm going to get to Kerry right now, and then we'll give you some more questions. Okay. Of course, now that it's the finale, I finally got a good system going on. Okay. Fix his hair. I know my hair is still wet because today I was like kind of writing all my questions so really last minute, because I'm just excited. Okay. Our next guest is actress, producer, and an activist who is currently focused on encouraging census. She's been posting a lot about census, so go to 2020census.gov. And she just wants to make sure that we are all represented. But our next guest is just the most badass actress, producer, and activist, Kerry Washington. It says unable to join for some reason. Let me